The moment she asked for my kidney, I knew exactly how to respond. Hey Reddit, I'm using a throwaway account because, well, it's obvious. My entire family, what's left of it, follows my main, and after the phone call I just got, I can't risk them finding this. I just need to, I don't know, put this out there, see if I'm the monster they're all saying I am. My name, let's just say I'm 32. The main players here are my sister, Emily, who's 30, and my ex-husband, Mark, who's 33. And yes, you heard that right, ex-husband. And yes, those two names are absolutely connected. My sister Emily, she was always the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, the one my parents just adored, the one who stole my husband, and now she's in kidney failure. And our family, my family, they all expect me to be the hero. They expect me to just roll up my sleeve, go under the knife, and give her a piece of my body. They seem to have this magical, convenient ability to forget everything that happened. But I haven't. I haven't forgotten a single second of it. To understand why I said no, you have to understand my family. Growing up, there were two tracks, Emily's track and my track. If Emily got a B on a test, my parents were marching into the school demanding to know why the teacher hated her. If I got an A-, they'd look at the paper and sigh, asking me why I was getting lazy. She was the sunshine, the glitter, the one who was full of life. I was the responsible one, which is just family code for the boring one, the fixer. And I was expected to clean up every single one of her messes. When she maxed out 3 credit cards in my mom's name, I was the one who had to work a second job one summer to help pay it down, just to keep the peace. When she forgot to pay rent at her apartment for 3 months, I was the one my dad called, asking me to lend her the money. Money I never saw again. I was just used to it, used to being the structural support, the person who existed just to make sure her life ran smoothly. Then I met Mark, and Mark was different. He was my escape, my one piece of sanity. With him, I wasn't the responsible one. I was just me. He saw me. He'd listen. He'd rub my shoulders after a long day of... Well, usually after a long day of dealing with Emily, he was kind. He was stable. He told me I deserved better. We got married. We built this life. This quiet, normal, safe life. For 5 years, it was just us. It was my harbor. My one place in the entire world where I wasn't being asked to fix something or give something up. I could finally breathe. And then, about 4 years ago, Emily's life imploded. Shocking, I know. This time, it was a big one. A messy breakup with some guy she'd been seeing, and she'd lost her job again. She was getting evicted. The usual Emily spiral. The phone calls started immediately. First from my mom. She's your sister. She has nowhere to go. You have that nice guest room. I told her no. I told her I was done. Then my dad, don't be selfish. We're family. You can't just turn your back on her. What would people think? I told Mark. I said, I can't. I don't want her in our house. It always ends badly. And Mark, he held me. He said, I know, but it's just for a few weeks, right? Just until she's back on her feet. We can handle a few weeks. It's better than listening to your parents call you every night. He was just trying to be the peacemaker, like always. So, against every single screaming alarm bell in my gut, I agreed. Just for a few weeks, I told her, standing on our doorstep as she dragged in 7 suitcases. She just smiled. That perfect golden smile. Of course. You're a lifesaver. I promise. You won't even know I'm here. A few weeks turned into a month. Then 2. Emily's job interviews were always promising, but nothing ever materialized. She was just there, in my space. And the atmosphere in my house, my safe harbor, started to curdle. It started with little things. Mark, who always made a point to be home by 6, suddenly had a critical project at work. He was at the office until 9, sometimes 10 at night. Oddly enough, those were the same nights Emily was out meeting old friends. Then came the private jokes. I'd walk into the living room, and they'd be laughing hysterically. The second I'd ask, "What's so funny?" instant silence. Emily would just sip her wine, my wine, and give me that little smirk. "Oh, nothing, just a stupid video, you wouldn't get it." Mark would just clear his throat. He'd suddenly find the pattern on the carpet fascinating. I tried to talk to him. One night in bed, I kept my voice low. "Hey, is everything okay? You and Emily seem, I don't know, it just feels weird." His back was to me. He didn't even turn over. "Weird how?" You stop talking when I come in the room. You have all these secrets." He let out this heavy sigh, the "you're being difficult" sigh. "She's your sister. I'm just trying to make her feel welcome. God, can't you just be nice for once?" I tried again. "No, it's more than that. It feels like I'm the outsider." That's when he sat up. His eyes were cold. "You're being ridiculous. Are you jealous of your own sister? Honestly, that's kind of crazy." So I called my mom, desperate. I told her, "I'm uncomfortable. I think something's wrong. I want her out." Her response, "You always do this. You were always jealous of her. Emily is fragile right now. You need to be more supportive. Stop being so insecure, or you will push that poor man away." I was being gaslit from every direction. I started to think maybe I was the crazy one. The breaking point. It was a Thursday. I had a huge awards dinner for work, downtown, mandatory attendance. Mark knew, Emily knew. I was supposed to be out until at least 11. I got to the office, and my boss calls me in. "Family emergency. The whole dinner's canceled. Go home. Enjoy the night off." I remember feeling relieved. I didn't text Mark. I thought I'll surprise him. Maybe we can actually have a date night, just us. I was happy. I pulled into the driveway. Mark's car was there. Good. The house was quiet. Too quiet. All the lights downstairs were off. I unlocked the door. "Hello?" Nothing. I dropped my keys on the table. That's when I heard it. Music. Faint. Coming from upstairs. From our bedroom. My heart, it just stopped. I walked up the stairs. My feet felt like lead. The music got louder. It was our wedding song. Our song. I put my hand on the doorknob. It was unlocked. I pushed the door open. They didn't hear me. Not at first. He was, and she was, in my robe, in my bed. I don't even remember making a sound. It must have been a gasp. Or a choked sob, but they both froze. They scrambled. Mark, he fell off the side of the bed, tangled in the sheets. Emily just sat up. She pulled the duvet to her chin, and her face, it wasn't shame, it wasn't guilt, it was annoyance. She looked at me like I was the one who was wrong. like I'd walked in on her private moment. "It's not what you think," Mark was yelling, trying to pull his pants on. "It's not what I think." My voice was, I didn't even recognize it. It was hollow. "It's not what I think. You're in my bed, with my sister, playing our song." He tried to grab my arm. "Just calm down. Let me explain." "Explain what?" That's when Emily spoke. Her voice was calm. "It just happened, okay? We didn't plan it. It just happened. We can't help who we fall in love with." I stared at her. I couldn't process it. I turned to Mark. He was just standing there, zipping his pants. He wouldn't look at me. "Mark." He wouldn't look up. "Mark, look at me." He finally, slowly, lifted his head. The man I'd loved for 5 years. He was gone. There was just this stranger. "Her," I whispered. "It's her." And he just gave this tiny pathetic nod. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I'm in love with her." I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I think I just went downstairs. I walked into the kitchen and I put the kettle on for tea. My hands weren't even shaking. I was just hollow. Mark packed his bags while I sat at the kitchen table staring at the wall. He didn't try to explain again. By morning, his closet was empty. He didn't even bother to get his own place. He moved straight from my house into a new apartment with Emily, an apartment I later found out my parents had co-signed for. The speed of it all, it made my head spin. The divorce was fast. He didn't fight for anything. He didn't want the house. He didn't want the joint accounts. Why would he? He already had what he wanted. About a week later, my parents called. They wanted to talk, to mediate. I was so naive. I was so broken. I thought for 1 second they were calling to support me, to be my parents. I was an idiot. I went to their house, the house I grew up in. They sat me down on that same familiar sofa. My mom, she had that look, the one I'd seen my whole life. The "you're being difficult" look. My dad cleared his throat. We need to find a way to move past this. I stared at him. Move past what? Dad, they, in my house, in my bed. My mother shook her head like I was the one being childish. "Honey, you have to look at your part in this." My stomach, it dropped. "My part? You pushed him away," she said. Her voice was so calm, so reasonable. "You were always so high-strung, so focused on your job. Mark needed softness. He needed support. And Emily? She's just more easygoing," my dad added, nodding. She gets him." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get air into my lungs. "She's easygoing? Is that what we're calling it?" "Don't be ugly," my mom snapped. Her voice was ice. "It's not attractive. Look, the point is, they're in love. It happened. You need to find a way to forgive them." And then the line, the one that severed the last thread. "We are a family," she said, putting her hand on mine. I flinched. And family doesn't throw each other away over one little mistake. A mistake. My marriage, my home, my entire life. Just a little mistake. I stood up. I didn't say a word. I just looked at these two people, these strangers, and I turned around. I walked out of that house. I went home to my empty apartment. The silence was so loud. I picked up my phone. I blocked my mom. I blocked my dad. Emily and Mark were already long gone. That was 4 years ago. That was the last time I ever spoke to any of them. It was like ripping off a limb. The pain was physical. For months, I started therapy, a lot of therapy. I learned words like scapegoat and golden child and narcissistic family system. I sold the house. I let him have almost everything. I wanted out. I moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment across town. The walls were thin. The view was a brick wall. And it was the first truly safe place I had ever lived. I got a new job. I made new friends. Friends who didn't know my past. Friends who just knew me. And slowly, the silence, it stopped being scary. It stopped being lonely. It became peace. 4 years of absolute, uninterrupted, beautiful peace. Until last night. I was making pasta. Just a normal Tuesday. My new phone with my new number buzzed on the counter. The caller ID was unknown. I almost ignored it. I hate unknown numbers. But something made me pick it up. Hello? Silence. Just breathing. Hello? I said again, annoyed. It's Mom. My blood went cold. 4 years. Not a word. I hadn't heard her voice in 4 years. I didn't say anything. I held the phone. Please don't hang up, she whispered. She was crying. I'd never heard my mother sound like that. Never. I still said nothing. It's Emily. Of course it was. It was always Emily. She's sick. She's really, really sick. I leaned against the counter. My pasta water was boiling over. She has polycystic kidney disease. Both her kidneys, they're failing. She was sobbing now. A full-on, ugly, gasping cry. She needs a transplant. She's on the list, but the doctor said it could be years, and she doesn't have years. I knew where this was going. I could feel the steel rod sliding down my spine. The doctor said, they said family is the best match. You're her only sister. We all got tested. Me, your father, even Mark. None of us are a match. She took this huge shuddering breath. I could hear her trying to pull herself together. But the doctor said you're her sister. The chances are so high. I waited. We need you to get tested. And then, before I could even process it, the guilt, the pressure, it started. This is it, she said, her voice suddenly strong. The old, familiar, manipulative tone was back. This is your chance. This is your chance to finally be the bigger person. I just held the phone. This can heal our family, she said, her voice getting that hopeful, righteous edge. This is what family does. We show up. You can fix this. You can fix all of this. I stared at the water boiling over onto my stove, the hissing sound. She will die. My mother's voice cracked, sharp and hard. If you do nothing, she will die, and that will be on you. Do you understand me? Her blood will be on your hands. I stood there in my kitchen. The pasta water was just hissing. I heard every word. Her blood will be on your hands. I let the silence just sit there. I let her hang on it. I took a deep breath. I reached over and turned off the stove. Then I put the phone back to my ear. No. For a second, just 1 second, there was nothing. Just dead air. I think she couldn't compute it. What did you just say? I said no, I won't be getting tested. The answer is no. The sound, it wasn't a cry. It was a shriek. It was pure, unfiltered rage. You, monster, you! How could you? She is your sister, your blood. She stopped being my sister 4 years ago, I said. My voice. It was completely flat. And you stopped being my mother. You evil selfish. You're killing her. You're letting her die. What is wrong with you? After everything I didn't let her finish. I hung up. I pressed the red button and blocked the unknown number. And by the way, if your jaw just hit the floor, or if some small part of you is actually understanding, maybe hit that like button, because you have no idea what happened next. I thought blocking her number would be the end of it. How? Stupid. Within 10 minutes, my phone, it exploded. My aunt, my uncle, cousins I haven't seen since I was 12. Ping, ping, ping. Texts, voicemails. How can you be so cruel? Your mother is a wreck. You're tearing this family apart. Again. She's your sister. You'll regret this for the rest of your life. They found me on social media. My profiles were private, but they found me. DM requests. You're a monster. I hope you can live with yourself, you cold thing. They called me evil, selfish. They told me I was exactly the cold-hearted person they always knew I was. I was blocking them, one by one. Just block, delete, block, delete. And then an email. The sender's name. It made my stomach clench. Mark. It had been 4 years since I'd seen his name in my inbox. The subject line was just, please. I opened it. My hands, now they were shaking. It was paragraphs, pages. He was begging. He told me how much he loved her, how she was his world, how she was a changed person. He told me, I know you. I know you're better than this. I know you still have a good heart in there. He was appealing to the good person I used to be, the fixer. He ended it with, please, don't let our past, don't let my mistakes be the reason the woman I love dies. I closed the laptop, and this is what I need you to understand, Reddit. This is the part they will never get. They think this is revenge. They think I'm doing this to punish her, to get back at them for what they did. It's not. I'm not. I'm not sitting here wishing her dead. I don't feel anything. It's not about hate. It's that I'm done. I am done being their spare parts. My whole life I was the fixer. I was the one who was supposed to give up my time, my money, my sanity, just to keep the golden child shining. And when she took everything, the one thing I had ever built for myself, they sided with her. They told me I was the problem. They threw me away. They threw me in the garbage. And now, 4 years later, they're digging me out of that same garbage because they need something. They don't want me. They want my kidney. They want a piece of me. It's the ultimate fix. Give up a literal part of my body so their lives can go back to normal. I can't. I will not set myself on fire just to keep them warm. I will not undergo major surgery. Cut a healthy organ out of my body for people who treated me like I was disposable. That part of me, the fixer, she's gone. She died 4 years ago on my bedroom floor when I found them. They want a hero. They want me to heal the family. But you can't heal what was already rotten to the core. Hey Reddit, it's me again. I know it's been a few months. After that night, the explosion of calls and emails, I had to go dark. I'm not here to read comments. I'm not here to argue. I needed to post this last part for me. This is the final update. I did what I should have done 4 years ago. I didn't just block them. I got a new number. I deleted all the social media they knew about. My new profiles are locked down so tight you couldn't find me with a search warrant. I built a fortress. And the silence, it was back. I didn't know what happened. I didn't want to know. I was finally healing. But the universe is weird. I was at the grocery store last week, just buying milk, and I ran into an old neighbor, a family friend. But a distant one. She was always kind, but never in it, you know? She grabbed my arm. Her eyes were just sad. She didn't know we weren't talking. She just told me. Apparently, after I refused, my father, he got tested again. He wasn't a perfect match. Not like I supposedly was, but he was good enough. He gave her his kidney. The surgery was about 6 weeks ago. She told me it was complicated. Because he wasn't a perfect match, there were issues. For both of them. Emily, she's still in the hospital. The outcome is uncertain. That's the word she used. And my father, he's apparently having a very, very hard recovery. I stood there, in the dairy aisle, and I nodded. I heard myself say, "Oh, that's a shame. I hope they'll be okay." And I felt nothing. Not happiness. Not guilt. Not anything. It was like she was telling me about strangers, about people I'd read about in the news. It wasn't my problem. And that's when I knew. That's when I knew I was finally done. My closure, it isn't about them. It's not about whether she lives or dies, or whether my dad regrets his choice. It's about me. For the first time in my entire 32-year-old life, I chose myself. I saved myself. That no, it wasn't just about a kidney. It was the final, definitive word. It was the end. The end of being the fixer. The end of being the responsible one. The end of being their spare parts bin. Not from a surgery, but from a toxic, drowning, empty system that would have drained me until there was absolutely nothing left. I'm not coming back to this thread. I'm done. I am finally, truly free. To those who offered constructive advice, thank you. Your kindness means more than you know. Take care.